goes. We're getting a little bit later start today than normal, and it's my fault. So, Steve, I didn't tell you this, but the market on the used cars is real hot right now. There's a lot of people who are wanting used cars, and so I got a really good offer on my car. And today was the day that my new car came in. So I had to hustle down to the dealership to get my car before they sold it to somebody else. And I was down there the whole time. I said, we gotta fix this up. We gotta get this done. I got a show to do. And they said, what type of show? And I said, a mule and donkey show. And they said, what? I said, that's right. I'll send you the link. So I'm here. And hopefully the internet is going to hold up for us. It looks like it's cutting in and out a little bit. So we'll see how it goes. Steve, are you able to hear me where you're at?
Yeah, I can hear you. It just looks like our puppet's going.
Yeah, it's breaking up a little bit. We'll see. We'll see if we can. We'll see if we can make this work. All right. But folks, we are here, and we're going to go through, and we're going to get to as many questions as we can. So let me go ahead and tell you how this works. Every Wednesday, we get together. Whether I'm late, whether Steve's late, whether I'm buying a car, whether Steve's shooting a deer, whatever the case might be, we get together and we talk about mules and donkeys. And any and every question you got is the question we're looking for. So I'm going to tell you this. There's three things that we're going to ask you to do. The first one is to just put your name, where you're watching from, and what the weather is like today. That just gives us a chance to say hi to you. That just gives us a chance to get to know you a little bit, and for our familiar faces to get to hear from you each and every week. The second thing we ask is that you ask any and every mule or donkey question that you've got. And there's no dumb questions. There's no wrong question. There's nothing you need to worry about other than getting the answer to your mule or donkey question so you can get out there and get results. And the third thing that we ask is that you share the broadcast. That's it. Those are the three things that we ask, and it makes for a great show each and every week. And Steve, I got a question. My sales guy, his name is Josue, and we had time to kill while they were getting all the financing going. Jose asked me a question that I did not know the answer to. I said, well, I know who will have the answer. So that's going to be the first question up here in a second. But I want to say hi to all of our friends who are joining us. I want to say hi to David, watching from East Texas, 70 degrees. Say hi to Susan. Steve finally made a live one, she says. Eileen is watching from Kentucky, 66 degrees there today. Linda the Mule Servant and Theo the sweet one-eyed mule hanging out, watching from cold, muddy, icy, nasty central Ohio. Jenna is watching. Faye is here from Queensland, Australia. That means we've gone international. Good to have you here, Faye. Shelly is watching. British Columbia, Canada, international again. We've got Judy watching from Texas. She says, I have to go feed and unload feed. We'll be so glad when days are longer. Judy from Texas. Rain coming in. I have a bunch to do before dark. We'll get it done, Judy. Come back, watch the replay. David has a question. So before we get to his, I'm going to ask Steve the first question of the day. Steve, here's the question. Is there any difference between training a burro that's been out in the wild its whole life and a burro that's new, that's been raised in captivity? Is there any difference in training a wild burro versus a burro that's been brought up in captivity?
The wild burro will be easier because nobody's messed with it. The biggest problem with mules and donkeys is somebody opened the gate. Yeah, in other words, you started doing things with them, and we get kind of all kissy face with them. We end up with a fluffy, and we end up with different problems. As we've seen on the videos in the past here, people make mistakes, and that's part of life. But we've got ways to fix them. So give me an untouched wild donkey or untouched wild horse any day, and I can get it done faster than I can with something else has already done things incorrect. Now, what I mean by incorrect, you'll know a horse trainer who thinks they're training mules when you see the halter that they put on the animal. They don't understand that mules and donkeys communicate through their nose. And that's why the come-along hitch is so important. And that's why the come-along hitch is so much more important than a halter. Spend the time with your come-along hitch, hang the halter on a nail in your tack room.
Awesome. Very good. There you go. I did not know the answer to that. Now I know. No one's half the battle. So the first question, not from Josue, comes from David O'Brien. He says, when I'm training to pick up the hind legs and working by myself, can I use a cotton rope on the back leg and the come-along rope to get her to lift her foot and hold it up? That one's from David.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can do that. I prefer not to use a cotton rope because any kind of rope is going to burn them, but that's okay. What I use is it's a cuff that goes around the leg and it's got 2 rings on it. And I run a rope through those rings. I can do it all without even touching the animal's foot. And I come around with it, and it's all lined with real soft leather, and it keeps them burning. But can you use a cotton rope? Absolutely. Can you use anything? Yes, you can. Here's what I prefer that you do. Put the come-along hitch on. Take you a long quirk that is 4 foot long or so that you can tap the leg with. And then have your hand on the come-along hitch with your left hand and take your quirk and tap the leg. Now, you're going to go down the hip and get down around the cannon bone, and you're going to tap it. I don't care about you picking a leg right away. I always tell you, it's important that you build a foundation to get there. Putting the halter on, drop the head, tip the nose to the left. Picking up the feet, you want to have them be quiet. Number 1, stand still and quiet. So the first thing you'll do is teach your mule to stand still and quiet. Second thing you'll do is take that quirk and go right down the back leg. And as you go, he should feel the pressure, just that little bit of pressure from your quirk, from your whip, and he'll start leaning over. Now, he may even move. If he moves, the bump his face. But I prefer to do that rather than using a leg rope. That way, see, they pick up the foot on their own, and they're not being made to do it using a cotton rope. All right? Now, if the mule kicks at you, literally tries to hurt you, then you take that long rope and you try to cut his nose in 2. All right? The reason I say that is if you don't fix it, then they'll get worse. Just like the lady that we did with that kid's mule, that you all saw a video of the past a couple times, where the mule's going to kick and bite. And we don't want them to think they're the herd leader. We're the herd leader.
Awesome. Great question, David. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. We'll keep trucking on here. This question, let me see here. This question came in from one of our friends on Facebook. Said, Steve, do you get your mule's teeth floated on any regular basis, as I normally do with my horses?
I didn't get the first part of that, Dave. It was.
Do you get your mule's teeth floated on a regular basis like you would with horses?
Yes, every spring I suggest that you get the teeth done, and that's really important to do. Every spring you float the teeth, and every spring you worm them.
Awesome. Yeah, those teeth are pretty important. I'll tell you what, folks, one of the first things that really kind of made me confused was just how much the teeth were connected with so many different parts of the mule's behavior. And I didn't understand why. And, we can talk a little bit more about it throughout the time together today, but it just impacts so much. And if you go back and you watch some of our early broadcasts, one of the things that you'll find is just how many times